Hello everybody and welcome back down the creek. It is cold outside, but I've got it kind of warm in here in the garage. In today's video, we're going to be talking about um, basically the starting point of where and how I install my Elite FS fish finder from Lowrance on the bow of my Tracker Pro V175. So I'm going to do a multi-video series because I'm going to try and go in a lot of detail. I think when I first got started in boats, I was a little bit intimidated with how things came apart and went back together, and I didn't want to make it look bad. So I'm going to show you exactly step by step how I remove things and how I get into places and what I decided to do to run the wires. I'm not a professional by any means, but it's going to work for me, and I kind of know what I'm doing. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and let's stop wasting time and get into the video. All right, guys, so this is really part one of a multi-video series. Today we're going to be talking about what I do to run power to the bow of the boat to power my fish finder. Now, I have the Elite unit here right now. I have some other parts ordered that should be delivered today. It's going to be filming over several days. But I also have something really cool coming, and it's going to be Active Target. So, they came out with Active Target 2, and I was kind of looking at the differences. But, I found a really good deal on Amazon for Active Target, like the original. And I don't really need Active Target 2. I don't know that I'd be stitching two sonars together. So we're just going to install Active Target, right? So to start off today's video, we're going to be talking about running power, right? So I need to run power from my driving console up into the bow of my boat. Now, I've done some install stuff on this boat already, so I've already kind of been into the wiring and I have a general idea of what it looks like under there. So I was able to order some parts to start, and I know that there's going to be some challenges. The first thing I ordered was this fuse block here, and I wanted to put a fuse block up inside the nose of the boat because I want to be able to plug not only the fish finder in there and have it fused, but I wanted to be able to like run the power for the unit, the brains of the Active Target up there as well. So I'm going to be figuring out how to install this fuse panel. So step one is really going to be gaining access to underneath the driving console and then access to the front of the bow. So we're going to start by taking off a couple panels to kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Now, because I'm running wire to a fuse box, my idea, and I'm hoping that this works, is to run power from the fuse block, the main lines on the fuse block, underneath the console and kind of continue it on into the bow. So that's where my mind went. To do that, I bought some marine cable from Amazon. And when you're running like main power, you want it to be pretty heavy gauge. Because this is a smaller fuse block, and the only things I really plan, I'm not going to be running any heavy draw items off there, like my trolling motor and my anchor are run off trolling batteries wired with, I think it's 8 or 9. I think it might even be 8 or 9 gauge wire. But it's heavy duty stuff, and that's how it powers that. So I want this heavy duty wire to go up to the fuse block, where the wire that wires into the fuse block will just be what the electronic that we're hooking in needs. And most of those electronics come with wire, and you can just crimp on a fitting that will work with this fuse block. So cleaned my boat a little bit, and I mean, it's not super clean because it's winter time and I've been messing with stuff and filming. But I removed the captain's chair, I removed the chair in the bow, and I removed kind of some of the clutter that I keep in my boat over the winter. I put some things away just so I have clear access. The tools that I'm going to use to start this process is I've got some of my Harbor Freight stuff. So I've got just a basic drive set, right? So this is just going to be some different drives. Most of the screws that you take off from Tracker are going to be square drive, and they're going to be self-tapping stainless steel screws. But the one thing I've learned messing with this boat is the screws on these things strip so easy, and you have to drill things out. So I also have some drill bits to use to see if I have to drill out any, and then I have purchased stainless steel self-tapping screws for when I mess with things and one strips. I pull it out and I replace it. So you're gonna want some stuff because when you're doing this in and out on the screws, they go bad, and if you put one in and it gets stuck, it's just a pain. So if it looks bad or it looks like it's starting to strip, I'm just gonna replace it with a new one, and we're gonna call that good. So let's get over here. I'm gonna hook up my drill, get myself set up, and I'm gonna shoot the screws out from under this panel. So give me a second here. I'm gonna reposition, and we'll see what I can get set up for you. Hi guys, we're going to take a pause from today's video and talk about one of the 3 certainties in life. If you're an outdoorsman like me, you know that the 3 certainties in life are death, taxes, and this hobby is expensive. I try and save money any way I can, and one of the ways that I save money is the Upside app. I use it to get cash back on fuel purchases that I'm going to make anyway. And it's really simple and easy to use. If you take a look at this screenshot that I just threw up, you can see that I've earned real money, right? I've actually earned real money. And it's really simple to use. All I have to do is open the app, select the fuel station that I want to use, link a card that I'm going to use to fuel up, use that card and fuel, and then claim my rebate. After that, Upside does all the work. They go get your cash rebate and load it back onto your account where you can cash it in and redeem it for either cash back to your card or gift cards that they list below. If you haven't used it, if you don't use Upside to save money, then you're crazy. So follow the link below or download the Upside app and use my code, and we'll be able to both save a little bit of extra money on that first purchase. So thanks for watching, guys, and let's get back into the action here. Okay, so I'm pretty much laying down here on the floor, and I'm in an awkward position because I want to make sure that I can film. And I'm sorry if you can't see that very well because the light kind of sucks down here. I got some help, but I'm going to start with 2 drives, basically, of my impact. One is this one here, and this is a square bit, and there's screw positions 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, and I know there's one over here in a corner, and I think that's it. That should give me access to underneath the console where I can access the fuse panel, run some of my wires, and see what's going on. But I also have a Phillips because I can't remember if I replaced any of these last time I was in here. Like I said, I kind of replace them if they look crappy. So we're going to start with unscrewing, and it's simply a self-tapping screw. And this one looks a little bit sad, so that one might get replaced with a new one here when we put it back in. There it goes. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that hold this in place, and then I'm going to show you here with my phone camera what it looks like underneath. Alright, so here we go underneath. There's the battery charger that I installed, but there's my fuse panel right there. Oh, let's get you in there. And I'm going to find a way to wire into that to run my power through. So that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to take that plastic cover off and then just follow on the hot and the ground leads and run wires down through. I believe I'll have to go through this compartment here. I think that's what I had to do last time. Yeah, so it runs down through this compartment. I drilled a hole, and we'll do the same thing again. We'll drill a hole, but I'm going to drill a big hole, and that's going to be my pass-through hole. I'm only drilling one more hole. I'm not doing it ever again. So we're gonna fix that. So we're gonna do the same kind of thing up on the bow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up the stainless steel screws and stick them somewhere that I won't lose them, and then I'm gonna get this other panel that I just took out that went here, and I'm gonna set it aside out of the way because it's gonna be off for several days. Is my guess. Plus I'm gonna get rid of this, which is where I store some of my lake trout stuff. So I have like a little pad under me. It's like a hot seat, a hunting seat. I recommend you get some type of foam. It makes it a little nicer to lay on this hard ground because this is aluminum or solid plywood. So let's move up to the bow, and then we'll take a look at taking that off, and then we'll have some figuring to do once we get there. Okay, so here we are up at the bow, and it's the same kind of deal. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way, right? So I've got some stuff set up already from previous installs, but I just need to I want to take this front panel off because I want to access back here and find a place to mount this fuse box. Now I may have to go purchase a piece of like marine 2x4 or treated 2x4, something to mount it to, because I can't quite remember what it looks like underneath here. But same deal. So there's one screw here, one screw here, one screw there. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 up top, and I'm pretty sure there's a stripped screw from last time that I'm gonna have to drill out. So let's get started. And again, I have both square drive and a Phillips drive here because I know that there's a stripped out screw up here, and I'm looking at it. So we're gonna start with the square drive ones. So one there. One there. And that one doesn't bite really good. So I bought, like I said, some stainless steel self-tappers. We will be using those to replace some of these bad screws that I replaced with whatever I had handy. This one's not loose enough yet. Is there one missing? Am I missing one? There it goes. Bang. All right. So, oh, that's right. Taking a look here, there really isn't a whole lot of options for mounting here because it's the bow. Let's see if I can move you closer. So that's what we got to work with. That's the deck there, and then it goes up, and it's just bow. It's just aluminum. So I'm gonna game plan here, and I'm gonna see about getting a piece of wood, and then once I figure out what I'm gonna do, I'll turn it back on and explain what I'm gonna do. But I know that I need to clean out the rod locker and get to the very bottom of the boat. So I'll probably clean out the rod locker, move the battery out of the way, because the battery's right underneath the rod locker. And that'll give me an area to chase, because I'm going to have to chase wires from up here down through the boat. And there's a cavity there. So you can see me, there's a cavity underneath that all these wires run. So like this is the trolling motor wire, and it runs down through there. So let me game plan and run to the hardware store, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I decided to kind of explain this here. So there's my battery, and there's the compartment underneath. Where that little space is where the module is going to go. But I kind of already run wires through here, and I need to do it again. So I'm gonna pull this battery out to give myself some room. But I wanted you to kind of see like where the battery was. So that battery's coming out, and then I also have a second battery in here underneath, and that space underneath there is all connected. So that's where I'm actually going to run my wires. So this battery may come out as well and just get moved out of the way. So we'll see how that plays. But I'm going to take this battery out, take that battery out, and then I'm going to look at drilling the holes while I kind of think about how I want to mount that fuse panel up front. So I'm going to move this stuff and decide where I'm going to drill my hole, and then I should be back once I decide to do that. Okay, so I still haven't gone to the store yet, but I was looking at the holes that I had drilled already, and I was able to make it work. So as you can see in this footage that I have here, I was able to run the wire to the fuse panel through two of the existing holes that I had drilled already for like the battery charger and the NEMA 2000 network that I installed a long time ago. So now I'm going to have to fish the wire through the bow, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fish tape. This is the same fish tape you'd use for a house feed this way. Anyway, I'm going to fish tape this real quick, and I'll try and film what I can, but I know it's going to be bad. So let's just see what we can figure out. So to running the fish tape, let's see what I can get here. So you can kind of see there, that's where I'm running through. So I'm going to run the fish tape up through there, and it'll pop out in the bow over there. Oh, it's blurry. Over there. So I'm going to run this fish tape. Okay, so I went back and forth. I tried to feed from here, and then I tried to feed from the front. I tried to feed from here, and I found that there's a flap of carpeting up front that was giving me a hard time because the thing would hit the carpeting. Usually Kelly would be helping me. Doing this by myself made it harder, and she would hold the carpeting up, and I could fish it through. So I was able to go up front, lift the carpeting up, feed it through, and then reach my arm in and find it, and then pull it through the rest of the way because there is a hard thing. So we have here. I tied the string to it. I wrapped electrical tape. We're going to pull it through and get the string on the other side. And then I'm actually going to cut this, and I'm going to chase a wire or a line through. So there will always be a line, so I won't have to do this next time for me to tie and then chase something through very easily. So I'm going to pull this through now to get the string in there so that we can pull it. So let's do that. Okay, we're up front now. I'm going to pull that through. Let's reel this up. All right, so I'm just going to leave this here. So now we have to go back down in the bottom, cut this off the spool. We're going to attach the end of this line to the wire, and then we're going to also cut another tag line and attach that to the wire. So when we pull it through, we're pulling a new chase with the wire we pull, so I don't have to fish that every time. I'm sick of doing it. I've done it a few times now. So back down to the bottom. All right, we're hung up, so I'm going to bounce back and shake it a little bit. Look at that. Victory. So I got it through. I'll be able to cut some of this extra off here, and I got an extra chase that I'm going to leave down there, but I got it, and it was plenty of wire, so that's going to be nice. So the next part is mounting the fuse block. I need a piece of wood, so I got to go to the hardware store. So I'm going to make a store run, and then we'll pick this back up when I pick this project back up. So magic of film, I guess. I'll be right back. Okay, quick trip to the hardware store is done. And I got a piece of treated 2x4. It's a little rudimentary, but that's what I came up with. So I'm going to jam this up there. I'm going to kind of jam it in there a little bit. And then I'm going to screw it from the top through the deck plate. Yep, that's what we're going to do. And that'll give me something with a little substance to screw into. Here we go. Now, that looks like it right there. I got some stainless steel screws, and we're going to shoot it and see. Use the carpet to hide it a little bit. And it's in there. Okay, so to do this next block, I'm going to be installing the fuse block. I've got the cover. So negative is going to go up. I've got number 10 ring connectors for here. I've got the appropriate stainless steel hardware to screw it in my 2x4 that I installed. Right? And I've got a razor knife. These are also marine heat shrink connectors. So we're going to be doing that. And I got some strippers. So let's see here. The first thing we need to do is get some of this electrical tape off that I use to run the cable. Okay, so now I think I have the appropriate amount of cable stripped. Now I'm going to take, or at least the sheeting cut off, so I have two separate ends. So now I'm going to take, and I'm going to see how much wire I need to strip. So I need to strip off about that much. And then we're going to melt it. Okay, so what I did there, I might have fast forwarded through that because it took me a minute, is I trimmed the sleeve up, I cut the wire, I put the marine grade from 12 to 10 AGW, right? And then I did the same thing here, 12 to 10 AGW, right? And it's a number 10 ring connector. And we're going to connect it to the fuse block. Okay. I've got the proper socket now. So we're going to take this off and we're going to hook it up. So this is marked pretty good. It says which side is the negative. So we're going to put the negative on there. Let's see here. That needs to come out the top like that. We'll put the washer and the lock washer on there. And the nut. And we'll use this just to put a little torque on there to get it tight. Compress the lock washer. Put it on there. Put the washer and the lock washer on. We're going to put the nut back on. I'm going to move this the way that I want it. And then we'll tighten it. Just a little bit torque to compress the lock washer. And then you have it. We have the fuse block and the wire installed onto the fuse block. And then the case will go like this. So we're good there. Now all we need to do is we're going to tuck this wire down, and we're going to take our stainless steel screws. They're 1 inch, and they're just the right width to go through here. And we are going to lay in here and attach this to the 2x4 that I installed. Let me see if I can get a better camera view so you can see. Okay, it's not great, but you can see. So I'm going to fix this to this 2x4 with 4 stainless steel screws. Get the wire situated the way I want. So it's a little bit of an awkward position. But we're going to see if we can't get a screw to go. Drop the screw. That thing down there, that void down underneath there is like an endless hole. And it is not easy. I've lost screws down there and I never seen them again. So we're going to try not to do that. And then this goes on like that. And there we go. We have installed a fuse panel. Whew. So this is a lot of moving around and fit in tight spaces, laying on the hard floor. I mean, it's either aluminum or plywood. It's not comfortable. All right, so I'm down at the other end. Here's my wire. And I'm going to do the same process where I'm going to strip some of this off. I'm going to put the marine connectors on there. And I'm going to show you, when I come back here, I'm going to show you how I'm going to hook this up. I'm going to try and get it, my phone set up so there's some light under there. And you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it off camera because it's going to take me a minute. And then I'll be back and we'll be looking underneath at the fuse panel. So give me a second. Okay, so you can kind of see here, I have my ends put on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this nut off. I'm going to put the red on here this way. And then up top the black goes on, and that should jump the current to this wire down into the bow, and then we'll test it. So I'm going to put those wires on real quick. It's real tight, so I can't really fit with the camera. So let me throw those wires back on, and then I'll show you how it looks before I put the cover back on. Okay, so I got that hooked up there, and I have my tester on the negative, and just a quick check just to make sure we got power. And you can see we do. So we need to test the front now. I'm going to put this plastic cover goes back on. And like I said, I can't really get in there and do anything with the camera there, but I'm going to put this cover back on, and then we'll go check the front. And I think that'll wrap this part of the video up. So I got this hooked up to the negative post of my new box, and we're just going to check and make sure that it has power and it's working. Can you see that? It lights up. Fuse panel installed. Let me get off the deck here. I'm shaking from just laying for so long. Hold on a second. I'm going to get up there and we'll talk. Well, guys, at this part, if you were just installing the fuse panel, you could just hook into whatever you were going to hook in and close everything back up. So I'm not going to do that. I still have a big mess to clean up, but the next part's going to be installing the Lowrance FS, actually on the bow. So that's coming here in the next video. So make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button, turn the bell on so you can kind of see when I'm going to be putting this big boy on there. After I get this installed, I will be installing the active target as well. So that's after this part and this next part. And then I'm also going to be installing these guys. So we're going to try and see how this works. So I need a better place to store my rods when we're cruising. So I really like these. These are built pretty nice. So I'm going to install them, check them out, and I'll probably do a review on them. But, well, guys, I think that's long enough for today's video. So thanks for watching to the end. And make sure you hit the bell, subscribe for the next video, see that Lowrance install, and remember, guys, get out there and live. We'll catch you next time on the creek.
Another catfish.